Welcome back. I'm Calvin, Statue Fanatic, here with another episode of Collecting on a Budget. This is a show where I show you some of the really cool things out there that you can collect without breaking the bank, that look amazing, display amazing, and you don't have to find another house to store them in. So today we're going to take a look at Spider-Man. This is a piece from Marvel's Premier Collection. I've been doing a couple of these pieces. They've done a really good job with this line. This is the Amazing Spider-Man, and it was sculpted by Clayburn Moore. Clayburn Moore was a sculptor that I got introduced to back in the mid-90s. He's an amazing sculptor, done some really great work. He's really known for his very limited bronze statues that he sculpts. Let's talk about this guy. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the box. The box is a pretty, simple box. It has a picture of Spider-Man on the front of it. It's a picture of the statue, photographs of the statues. And on the back of it, it basically gives an overview of Spider-Man and a little bit about his history. The same as on most of the Premier Collection statues that I've done so far. Shows that it's a limited to 3,000 pieces, which isn't too bad considering the size of it. It's pretty awesome. And in the box, it also comes with this letter of authenticity showing that this is 477 of 3,000. Also a really nice touch. But again, not much to do with the box. And we will put this aside and start talking about the statue. Now let's take a look at the statue. He stands about 13 inches tall, and he's about 12 and a half inches wide, taking into account his webbing and all the way out to his feet. And then from this angle, he's about 11 inches if you take into account again the webbing and how far it extends out to the front of him. But he does fit really nicely in a detolf, and you won't have any problem with that. Now, he's in an extremely cool dynamic pose. You can see him leaping over this rooftop, a part of the rooftop, this chimney that is. You can see his webbing that is stuck around the chimney, the brick here, all the way around, and you can see him slinging his web, about to do some incredible move, acrobatic type move. But about the statue itself, just looking at the sculpt of it, I really love it. Like I said, I love the dynamic pose of this guy. One of the things about Clayburn Moore, I did a little research about him some years ago and have just followed his work. One of the cool things about him is that he's really known for how accurate he gets the human anatomy, and when it comes to his sculpting, and they're not overly exaggerated or any of those things. They're really well proportioned to actually what a human being would look like when he's sculpting human statues. And this is no exception. He gets his really well fine muscles and that type of things on the statue. It looks really cool. If you look all around his back, his biceps, triceps, all sculpted really well. And then the lines that are on the statue, they're also sculpted. They're not just painted lines, they're sculpted in there as well. And then there's some sculpting in the top of here, some cracks in the cement on the top here. The bricks, again, sculpted, as well as the webbing. Paint job on it, it's done really well. There isn't any sloppiness on here. To say it's such a small scale figure, and I've gotten a couple that the paint factory, they did do a really good job. Like, it could be because it's such a small figure, but there's a lot of attention to detail paid here. And I didn't mention that the eyes are sculpted as well, but the painting around the eyes and in the white part of his eyes, all sculpted, all painted really well. No, going outside of the lines and that type of stuff on here looks really well. The same thing with the lines going around his arms. And the shading on it, as far as painting, there's some really nice shading, dark areas that's shaded pretty well to give it, sort of a kind of a dirty look, kind of a shadowy look, depending on the angle that you look at it. Looks really cool in that way. This is a really, really cool piece. If you're wanting not to break the bank but get some really cool pieces, this Premier Collection has been pretty awesome. This guy retails for $134 online, up to $150. I got this for $134 with $4 shipping. But I'm really happy with it. And so far, I've been really happy with some of the pieces that I've reviewed. I reviewed Moon Knight. Really happy. That was from the sculptor St. Jean. Did a really fantastic job with that piece. Clayburn Moore, really great job with this. I'm going to be reviewing his Iron Man piece, as well as another Spider-Man piece by Clayburn Moore. Just really happy with these pieces. Love the way they display. Love the dynamic poses that these guys are in, and the attention that's paid to detail. And as I've mentioned in the past, many of these pieces are sculpted by the same people that we see sculpt some of the really large-scale pieces that we, ooh and ah over and have all the accolades. But this is the same craftsmanship and the same workmanship, just on a smaller scale. So that's about all I have for this particular piece, and I can't wait to review my next piece for collecting on a budget. That concludes my brief review of this Really cool statue, sculpted by Clayburn Moore, as I've said. And if you want to stay on top of the latest in the world of collecting, please head over to mcecentral.com. That's Marvel's Collectible and Entertainment, where you can see some of the coolest shows that are out there on YouTube. Some really cool guys like Jim Mint and others, Immortalized in Stone, all have their shows up on the website over there. You can check that out, as well as some of the new things that we've been working on over at MCE. We have a new show called That Geek Show. We're getting off the ground. We've had a couple episodes, so please check that out. So until next time, my friends, peace.